What it do? You are listening to the Chronic and Shank Variety Conversation podcast for winners and really cool people, where two brains from two different countries and zero filters collide in conversations that go wherever the topic takes us.
We're your hosts. I'm Shank.
And I'm Chronic. We have a variety of conversations about things that we love.
And we love to share it with all of you out there.
So, lighters unite, tune in, and let's get into it, because if you're listening to this, you're already a winner and definitely really cool.
Today's topic is animals, pets, and our opinions on furry and scaly and feathered creatures.
And before we get started, remember to slap that subscribe button like it owes you some money and show the like, thumb, some love.
So, Chronic, like I said in the intro there, today we are talking about our animal companions and animals we wish could be our animal companions.
You know, it's funny that we're doing that episode today because I was just thinking, why did I not bring my pet elephant to the office?
To be fair, I really wish you would, because elephants are my other half's favorite animal in the entire universe, without question. So if you did bring an elephant to the office, that would be incredible.
Oh, he's awesome. He's amazing. He's an Asian elephant. He
Little ears.
his name is Rufus.
Nice. Good name for an elephant.
He has a mustache.
Very nice.
It's actually quite concerning.
And for those buds listening at home, if you don't know the difference between an African elephant and an Asian elephant, look at the ears. If you don't see them when they're babies, because when they're babies they look a lot different. But Asian elephants have little ears, and African elephants have big ears.
And
so
African elephants are about twice the size.
Yeah, they are. And when they're babies, Asian elephants tend to be like hairy. Like they're furry, and African elephants tend to not have the thick coat of baby fur.
Realistically, obviously, I do not own an Asian elephant named Rufus. Although in
owning
my dreams I do.
Owning elephants would be, as much as we would like to, it would be wrong, because they don't belong in captivity. They belong in the wild, living their best life.
If I quote unquote owned an elephant, I don't think I'd own it because they're so intelligent.
Yeah,
I think
you would have to live where
it'd be like
a
companionship. You know what I mean?
It'd be like a Tarzan situation where you're
exactly
in nature and the elephant just happens to be there.
Or if it was one of those situations where I found it when it was a baby and it was hurt, and then I raised it, or not raised it, but I just made sure it got healed well so it could go back out into the wild.
Yeah, and you stayed with it when you
just a little bit, make sure it was okay.
Yeah.
Went back and came back in 6-7 years later, because I have excellent memory, and he remembers me, and he's like, yo, and then
I wouldn't mind having a pet elephant, insofar as I would get rid of all of my worldly possessions and go live out on the savannah. I'd just go live in it, how because there's those anti-poachers or whatever, and they literally year round they don't live in they live in houses and huts and stuff that they build.
Poaching pisses me off.
Oh, me too.
I'm sorry not to cut you off, but that we'll get more into that. But that is the most evil.
But I love anti-poachers because they poach the poachers, which is honestly hilarious. I think it's great. It's one of those play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you're gonna try to poach an elephant, you deserve to have a bunch of heavily armed dudes run up on you. And
it's like the people, a little bit off topic, but it's like the people that get the license to go basically track down and hunt the overseas human traffickers and stuff that are on international waters,
yeah,
you're I like that.
The private security teams that the ones that are on the ships and on the ships that go through international waters.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about that. The dudes that basically companies hire them to protect their ships from pirates, so that if pirates attack the ship, they just shoot at them with rocket launchers, and it's fully legal because it's international waters, and they totally legal.
Well, it's not. Well, here's the thing: it's not legal, but it's not illegal. So it's,
well, there's no law. Hey, as a Canadian, we firmly stand in there. If there's no law to say that it's illegal, you got to do what you got to do. That's why.
All I think about is that Family Guy bit wherever he's like, "Oh, I've been trying to find the guy who's been rubbing his butt all over the Burger Kings across town." He's like, "Not illegal, not illegal. Show me the law, not illegal.
Show me the law, not illegal." But it's
That's Canada in a nutshell.
Well, yeah, well, it's because Canada, historically, we're known as saying sorry all the time and being really polite and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the other side of the coin,
pool.
Yeah, but the other side of the coin is that during war times, um, they people always say, and they're wrong. They're factually incorrect. They say that Canada commits a lot of war crimes, and that's not true because when we do them, there's no law for it. So it's not a war crime until if we do it again. You know what I mean? Like
It's
when
like
we
we
did it,
just okay. So now
you
you're
know,
pulling the Tony Stark. You're like, I'd like to politely disagree. I believe the best kind of weapon is the one you only need to fire once.
well, it's like
That's how
exactly
I
right.
did it.
And so
That's
people
how
are
we
always
do it,
Yeah,
and it's
so
worked
people
out
are
pretty
always
well since then.
exactly, and people always say they're like, oh, the Canadian military is known to commit war crimes during times of war, and it's like, no, 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 because until we did it the first time, they didn't know that people were willing to do it, so they didn't have a law against it, so it was legal when we did it. Just afterwards, they were like, no, we're not letting you do that again.
Right,
That's a
right.
war crime now. So if you do that again, and then we're like, okay, sorry.
Sorry, didn't
Sorry,
mean
eh?
to. Sorry,
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry, eh? And so like yeah, but like and it's one of those things where I think hunting poachers is a great thing. And like if I did have a pet elephant, or anything like that, it would be insofar as like the elephant would live out in the wild, and I would probably be more the elephant's pet than the other way around. I
You're gonna
would
be like,
live.
yeah, pick me up.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I would live with the elephant. You know what I mean? The elephant would never live with me, and it's like but there are a lot of animals like that. Like one of my favorite animals that I've always like dreamed of owning. It would be like the coolest thing, but I know that morally I would never own one because they are an endangered species and they do have like particular
Now,
climate.
now before you say it, I'm just curious
Mhm.
because I don't know why I want to know this prior to your answer,
Mhm.
but is it not only something that's kind of immorally wrong to own, quote unquote, but is it also like dangerous to own?
No, oddly
Okay,
enough. Oddly enough,
okay.
no. Some animals are. There are definitely like a handful of animals that I
Actually,
would be
mine
like,
is one of them, and we'll
yeah,
get to
I
that.
bet. Well, yeah, I bet it would. We'll definitely talk about that. But it's a lemur. I would like to own a ring-tailed
Yeah,
lemur.
that would be cool, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? That
as
would
a
be
kid, I
fun.
grew up watching Zaboomafoo, and I don't know if you've ever heard of that show, but it was a wonderful show. It was a kid show where these two brothers called the Krat brothers. They're animal conservationists.
The what?
Krat brothers, Kratt,
Okay,
brothers. Um, and they were animal conservationists and they like worked in veterinary science and stuff like that. And they were like they traveled all over the world and they did studies in Africa with animals and that kind of thing. And they had this lemur that lived with them named Zaboomafoo, who was a captive lemur. But it was in captivity its whole life, so it could never be released to the wild. But it was a lemur named Zaboomafoo, and they would go on adventures around the world to check out different types of animals. So each episode would focus on a different type of animal. And so they'd have like an episode about the ring-tailed hawk, they'd have an episode about armadillos, they'd have an episode about anteaters, like that kind of thing, right?
right.
They would go to the animals, they would actually travel physically to where the animal lived and they would study the animal in its natural habitat and kind of talk about its behaviors and what sounds it makes and how it lives its life and just to show the differences between different animal species and like everything from puppies and kittens to like elephants, like you name it, like giraffes and all kinds of shit and they were really really informative, but Zaboomafoo was just this really like cute animated, and I don't mean the like they had a puppet version of it which is like it was not, but like the lemur itself, the way that they move, the way they bounce around and how fluffy and sweet they look and how like they just look really cute. I always thought it would be so good to have like just be chilling out and have like a little lemur just hanging out with me, you know what I mean? Just feeding him
Yep,
pieces of fruit and like
yep.
feed, like and just hanging out with them and like but I know that like lemurs need more space than I would be able to provide for them. They need like a warmer environment than Canada. Wouldn't be like very nice for me to keep them in Canada. And if I did, I'd have to keep them inside of a house, and I don't have the square footage to keep one entertained. And they're very intelligent, so they need to be constantly like you need to like constantly
Right,
interact with them. And so
right.
it's not like a cat where you can just kind of have the cat and it'll wander in and wander out and like
Yep.
live its own life, but also be
Cats
very
are
interactive.
cool,
Like
man.
cats are dope. It's funny because I before we got I'll talk about it more after, but before we got my cat, I was absolutely not a cat person. I was one of those people that was like, I
You
would
know,
be.
is it that's kind of like a lot of people that I know, especially guys.
Mhm.
Um, I've noticed that like I even was kind of like that. Like I'm not really a cat person, you know. Like that's
Mhm.
not my like. It's not that I like. I'm not like a cat hater, but I'm just not a cat person, you know. And then
No,
we got
same, same.
one particular cat, and then it changed my whole perspective. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this one's pretty cool.
Yeah, same. And it's one of those things. Actually, it's funny. A long time ago, this is something that the listeners at home might have heard. If you've heard this before, comment down below, and you can expand on it in the comments. But basically, what I had heard is that like the reason why I didn't like cats is because not because they're aloof or anything like that. I never minded like a cat like and their need for consent and stuff like that, like to be picked up or pet or whatever and that kind of thing. Like, but what I didn't like is that cats tended to pee on things and their pee is fucking stinky.
Right, I
Like,
agree. I
like because
actually
cats I've had
that
in the
I
past.
never. Right, yeah, yeah. I've never had a
Yeah.
bothered issue about them
Yeah.
being like personally when
My
they want
current
to be
cat,
needed and
she's wonderful.
stuff.
Like my cat and my current cat, she doesn't pee on it. She goes in her litter box. She has never peed on anything. She doesn't destroy furniture or any like she's wonderful, right? But I've lived with cats before in the past that like they would pee on things that weren't their litter box
Is
and it
she
would
fixed?
she is fixed, yes. Yeah.
I hear that typically, especially
That
with
helps.
female cats, that
Yeah.
typically like almost stops it
Yeah,
completely.
well,
Like
because a lot
that's
of the time they'll pee on things to like mark it as their
yeah,
territory if they're
yeah.
not fixed. But even the cat before that I lived with was a fixed cat, and like I know that it was my roommate's
Sometimes it
cat.
does not help. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was my roommate's cat, and what I think it was is that my roommate was irresponsible at the time and didn't scoop the litter box often enough, and
Oh yeah, definitely. So
the cat would go other places. So it ended up ruining a lot of my clothing and ruining a mattress that I had owned and
yeah, we had a
fucking
cat
like
that ruined our mattress too.
and like all kinds and it was just
Oh, it
one of those
wasn't
things
ours.
where like it made me just very much dislike like I didn't like and again I love I'm an animal lover so like for me like I love and respect all animals and I think like I even think spiders are cute. I'm one of those kind of people, right?
I
Like
think jumping spiders are cute.
I just think all spiders are cute. Actually, right now I have one of my pets. This is a good time to talk about it because we're talking about spiders, and I'll only touch on it briefly. One of my pets, air quotes, and I do this with air quotes right now, is a common North American house spider. I have a common North American house spider who he popped up in my bathroom in the corner of the room where nobody goes, and he built a nice little web nest and everything like that with a nice little cave that he goes into. And I one day I was in there and I have a tendency to catch flies out of the air. Like if there's flies buzzing around or anything like that at all, like I'll do the cat like reflex thing to like just reach up and catch it in the air. And so I did that one day and I threw it into the spider's web. And the spider ran out, grabbed the fly, and started eating it. And I was like, oh my God, that's cute. I was like, that's awesome. Like I was like, I just fed this
He
spider,
said
you
nom
know?
nom 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 nom.
Yeah, and he was like eating it and he grabbed it and was like, and common house spiders don't do the thing where they wrap them up in web. Like they'll just grab them and bite them. And
Yep.
so I was like, I just fed this dude, right? And I was like, I fed him. He's my pet now. I was like, that's just the way it is. So I named it Tony.
Tony.
His full name is Tony Ten Toes. It's one of those ironic gangster nicknames because he only has 8 toes, but his name is Tony Ten
Lost the
Toes.
other two in a
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah, so his name is Tony Ten Toes, and basically, like he's my pet now, and I think he's adorable. And there are a lot of people out there. I understand entirely. If you like, don't at me in the comments. I know a lot of people have phobias of spiders and blah 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 blah. I get it, but if you take a minute to actually like watch mechanically how a spider works, they're fascinating as like living creatures, like
Right.
these like living things that like they don't tend to bite humans. They'll very rarely bite people. Most of them are not venomous and they eat the bugs that bite us.
No, we have some spiders. There's only particular spiders that I'll like kind of kill just in the sense of protecting my children, you know, um, just because they are quick and I don't really want to take the risk of trying to
Yeah.
catch it and it run off somewhere
Yeah.
else.
And yeah,
So like,
that's a
and
very
that's
important thing. Yeah.
because
Is
I'm in
spiders.
Florida, so like,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
particularly, you know, that's
Well,
a
you do
lot of
have venomous spiders. That's the thing is
and
down
quite a
there,
few of
you
them.
do have a handful of venomous spiders. And the thing that I feel about spiders as well is if they're in a place in my home, like if they're up in the corner of the room, I'm gonna leave them alone. I'm gonna leave them alone because I don't fucking go up there. I don't walk around. I don't like walk on the ceiling. I'm not gonna lay my head in the corner. Like they're fine up there. But if they're down in my space, like if they're like on my chair or they're like on the wall next to my head or they're like right there on the floor, I'm like that's my space. This is my
Yep.
area. Like so it's kind of like having a roommate that comes into your bedroom. You're gonna kick them out, right?
Yep.
So like if the spiders come like stay up in their space, they can stay there as long as they want to, and I will never kick them out. They can stay, they can live their best life out of my space. But if they come down into my space, then they're either gonna get moved or they're gonna get killed. It's one or the other.
Yep.
Like if they're quick and aggressive, I'm sorry, they're gonna get killed. And if they're slow, then I'll just pick them up and move them somewhere else.
Yeah, at some point it just becomes nature. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? It
yeah,
just becomes
yeah.
literally nature.
Exactly,
Um,
yeah. So it's like so they're gonna have their space. They're gonna be happily allowed to live as long as they stay out of my way. And like, but Tony, like Tony Tentos, he's like down the wall a little bit. And like, I like he's my friend now. He's my pet. So like, and I consider him to be one of my pets. But like I'm one of those people that finds even spiders cute. So like
right.
cats. So cats, I like cats. Like I always enjoyed them, and I always thought they were cute animals and everything else. But what I had heard is that the reason why a lot of men don't like cats, especially a specific type of men don't like cats, is because cats are lessons in consent. Because a cat will not let you pet a cat unless the cat wants you to pet the cat. And a cat won't like you and it'll treat like it'll be
Well,
aggressive
that
to
even
you
yeah that
if
yeah
you
that even
like
falls
yeah.
down to like like
And like guys don't
men
like that.
men
Like
have men a lot of men have a hard time shaking that like very like child aspect of like mine.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
Like I
well, and
need
that's the
it.
thing too is
You know.
it's like it's a consent thing because like the fact that with dogs and stuff like that, like a dog, you could start petting a dog and the dog's like, yes, please, every single time. Like you know what I mean? Unless the dog is sick or injured,
And
that
that's
dog is
and
gonna
not to
love
get
it.
off topic, not too off topic, but that's why parenting is so important to show kids that like especially boys, you have a different kind of level of like responsibility with boys to tell them that like if I say no because you wanted this, you can't get upset. And a lot of
Yeah.
people
Well,
just
you're
get
allowed to get
anxiety.
upset. You just can't do anything about it. You're
Well,
not allowed to
exactly.
like
Like
yeah, like
you can't be
you can
like
be
yeah,
disappointed that you didn't get what you wanted, but just the fact that you're disappointed doesn't mean that I have to give it to you.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and it's well, and it's anybody too. It's like it's one of those things where like I think it's important for parents, like I said, it's a bit off topic, but not really. It's but in insofar as like we should always teach our children that consent is important. Like for example, with my son, like I taught him that we never asked him. Like I never said go give your grandmother a hug. What I would do is I would ask him, do you want to give your grandmother a hug? Because he would say if he said no, I would be like, okay, can you at least say goodbye and like like that kind of thing. At least say goodbye and say I love you or whatever. And like if he wasn't in the mood to give someone a hug, but if he was, he'd say yes, and he'd be like, I'd be like, okay, go ahead. So it like teaches him that if he makes a decision, like like that decision is his to make. And
Right.
it's the same with like if you have a daughter or a son, like if they make a choice, you can't be like, no, you have to go hug this person because you're obligated to. It's like, no, it's your body. Nobody touches you unless you tell them yes specifically. Like unless they know that it's okay. And cats do that. That's what cats are like, is they will not let you touch them unless they want you to touch them. And some guys are like, that's bullshit, man. It's my pet. I should be able to pick it up and handle it whenever I want to, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, that's like saying that you think anybody should be able to come over to you and grab you whether they want to or not because they consider you theirs. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
You've
like,
just always
that's,
owned rambunctious dogs
yeah.
that, like
Yeah, and dogs are yeah, they're like that, but it's like but even some dogs like they don't want you just grabbing on them, right? And it's
like my
like just
dog
because
particularly right here is, straight to my left. His name's Sparky.
yeah,
And if he likes you, you know what I mean? It takes a second for him to like sniff you out and figure out
yeah.
who you are. But at first, you can't just touch him. You know
No.
what I mean? And people be like, "Well, why is he getting aggressive?" That's like, is he a mean dog? I'm like, no, you just went to go grab his face. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, what if you went inside of a grocery store or a Walmart and the Walmart greetie was there and he was like, "Hi, welcome to Walmart,"
And
and
you're like,
started
oh
like
yeah, it
rubbing your
starts rubbing on
face,
your
like,
face. Yeah,
like
like it gives
you're
you a
gonna be
fucking
like,
hug,
"Yo,
like
get
goes to like
off
give
of
you a
me!" Like,
hug, like
so.
cup your butt.
And then
And it's
there's dogs
yeah.
that like you got to teach personal space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're like, "Yo, calm
Exactly,
down, bro."
exactly. And it's one of those things where like that's why like cats like they're a very like consent oriented pet, which is why like some dudes just don't like them because they don't understand that like just because a pet is their pet, they don't own its behavior. And it's the same idea like it's like with their girlfriends, just because you're dating somebody or you're with somebody doesn't mean that you own that person. And even if you did think you owned that person, or they air quotes belong to you in some way, their consent still matters. Like how they feel about whether they say yes or no, it matters. If they say no, it means no. And so like cats, but I didn't like cats because they peed on things and it fucking stunk and they destroyed my furniture and they destroyed other shit. But when I
You
got
had
my
bad
cat,
experience with the
yeah.
kitties.
But when we got our cat though, like my other half saw the cat. We had adopted her from a shelter nearby, and when we first saw the picture of her, she was this very short-haired looking, scruffy street cat kind of looking cat. And my other half saw her because she always likes to window shop the animal adoption things. She'll like look at them just to see the cute animals.
Right.
And so she showed me the picture of this cat and was like, "Oh my God, this cat's so cute. Like, can we get the cat?" And I was like, and she always does that to me. She'll be like, "Oh, can we get this goat? Or can we get this donkey? Or can we get this emu? Or like whatever animal she sees." And because I'll always be like, "No, we can't get the emu," or "No, we can't get the cat," or "No, we can't," because like we're just not in a place to get one. And like she asked me about this cat. She was like, "Can I get this cat?" And I was like, "No, I don't think we." I was like, "I don't think so. Like, I don't think we should get a cat." And then basically, I saw the way that she kind of like she seemed actually disappointed by that. And so I was like, "Hey, do you really want this cat?" She's like, and I was like genuinely, "Do you really want to get this cat?" And she was like, "Kinda, yeah." And I was like, "All right, let's get the cat." Like, like I was like, "Let's do it." So we called the rescue place and told them, "Hey, we're interested in this cat. We're gonna come down and check her out and like see if she's a good fit for us and pick her up." So we went down the next day and she was absolutely like I opened the cage that she was in and I scratched her head a little bit and then I stepped out of the way so my wife could get in there to go see. And as soon as she stepped up to the cage, the cat rolled over on her back and showed her belly and just started kicking her back legs around gently and stuff. And my other half started petting her belly, and she didn't bite, she didn't claw, she didn't scratch, she didn't latch on and start chewing on her or anything like that. She just let my other half pet her belly, and my other half was like, "I'm in love." Immediately, I'm in
That's how
love.
our cat Drax is. He's like
Yeah,
that too. He's
and yeah, and she's it's so wonderful, man. It's the cutest fucking thing. Like
What's your
she'll
favorite
just
breed?
Calico. Our we got it right now. We've got
It's
a
my
long
mom's.
like my cat right here. She's a long-haired calico. Her name is Mochi. And like well that like and I only say that because like she's my girl. Like Mochi's like it's like she's our baby girl, but I like giant breeds. So like Norwegian mountain cat like Norwegian forest cats are probably my favorite
M-
breed.
My favorite's Maine Coon.
Maine Coons are so yeah, my other half loves Maine Coons as well. She had a Maine Coon before, actually. It was a beautiful
Oh,
cat. But either the forest cats, like Norwegian forest cats, because they are literally
let me
giant
see what they
cats.
look like real quick. Hang
Yeah,
on.
Google it real quick. Because they're Norwegian forest cats are giant cats. And they're majestic as fuck. They are the most majestic looking cats you will ever see in your entire life. Like they're like beautiful. And I also like what are they
Oh
called?
wow, that is
Servals.
beautiful.
They're the most majestic looking cat you'll ever see, man. Like they look and they're huge. When I say they're huge, I mean like if one was sitting in the chair, I'm sitting in a big, rather large, like comfy living room style chair. And if there was a cat sitting on the cushion of it, it would take up the entire cushion of the chair. Like they're huge. But either of those or servals. Serval cats are fucking like just gorgeous.
Servals are cool too, man.
Yeah. My other half, oh, sadly enough, she owned one for like 4 days. because they had adopted one from a shelter near here back when she was much younger, and like basically the cat went crazy when they brought it home. Like it went down into their basement and like refused to like come out and refused to drink water and refused to eat and stuff like that. So they eventually managed to wrangle it back into an enclosure, and they had to bring it back to the shelter so that it could like find a different home. But it turns out it had been separated from its sibling, which is why it was being like cagey. But it was apparently it destroyed all the blinds in their house and stuff like that within a 4 day period, and they're like very
Oh,
energetic. Yeah, and so like it was just
Cat in the
not.
Hat, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it just wasn't a good fit and a good situation. And my other half was way too young then as well to take any
Oh
responsibility in
wow.
training and stuff. So,
Now the
um,
whole like book of Cat in the Hat makes sense.
I know, right? Like, well, if a
I
cat,
never
yeah,
actually connected the two like that because cats
oh
are
yeah,
like can be very destructive.
they can
That
be
makes a
very
little sense.
destructive. Yeah, yeah, but and so that's our most recent pet is Mochi, our cat, and so like I do like cats and that kind of thing, but we had a dog in the past named Riley. He did pass away unfortunately
Oh, rest in peace, Riley.
a little while ago. He was the goodest of boys. He was such a wonderful dog, and he was filled with love. And we were completely devastated when he passed away. I don't want to dwell on it too much because this isn't a downer podcast. That's not what we do.
What kind of dog was
Um,
he?
but he was a black lab with Australian cattle dog mixed, and he was an
Oh
absolutely
wow.
wonderful dog. He got the intelligence of the Aussie cattle dog and the laziness of the lab, and it was amazing. He
Oh,
was
that's
just
awesome.
a great boy, very very sweet cuddle bug, and
This
he
is
was
my
our
first
bestie best
dog
friend.
still. My
Yeah,
very first
yeah,
dog.
and he was our bestie best friend, and we still think about him all the time. He's
Oh yeah.
always in our thoughts, and it's the reason why we don't have another dog now is because we were thinking about when we got another pet, we wanted to get another dog at some point, and we were like, we're not ready for that yet. It's probably
You
going to
gotta
be
give it time.
yeah,
You gotta give it
it's
time.
probably going to be several years before we're like ready for that. But we did think that a cat would be a good fit, and we weren't wrong. She is absolutely beautiful, sweetheart. And before we had gotten Mochi, we had gotten our rabbits. We have two rabbits as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And
Yep.
we have two
Yep.
rabbits. We have my first boy that I got. I adopted him from the same shelter that I got our girl at, actually, our cat. Same shelter. His name is Yoshi, and he is a North American giant chinchilla rabbit, which is
Ooh.
which is exactly what it sounds like. He's got the fur that's
You
a,
gotta send me these pictures
oh
too.
yeah, I'll send you
I'll
some
try to
pictures
have
of the
them.
pets
Yeah.
there. He is like their North American giant chinchilla is the one of the largest breeds of North American rabbits. They're not the largest breed, but they're one of the largest breeds. He weighs about 10 to 11 pounds. And his fur is as soft as a chinchilla's fur in the same shade of gray. He's absolutely adorable. He loves snuggles. He loves kissing me. He'll like, I'll lay down and he'll just come up and lick my face for like half an hour. And it's like he's just wonderful, wonderful rabbit. And when we had gotten him, a close friend of ours had a rabbit at her home, and unfortunately, because she had just started working a new job and her husband worked full time, they didn't have time to spend with the rabbit, and so it was in its enclosure a lot. Never really got free time, never got playtime, didn't really get much interaction. And so, like, they didn't feel like their family could properly take care of him, even though they really, really loved the rabbit. They treated him very well. They just didn't have time to spend with him, so they were going to rehome him. And because we had gotten a rabbit and we'd posted about it on Facebook, they reached out to my other half and said, "Hey, I saw that you have rabbit, like you have a rabbit at your house. We were wondering because I need to rehome my rabbit, whether if you would want to take him in." And so my other half was like, "Oh, like mention to me, hey, my friend has this rabbit, needs to rehome it." And I was like, "No, not gonna happen. No, we can't get another pet. We've got Yoshi. We don't have a lot of space." I was like, "There's no way we can get another rabbit. Like, as much as I would like to, and rabbits are the greatest thing ever. They're like honestly one of my favorite animals now, and I'd never owned one before in the past. They're one of my favorite animals now." And I was like,
Rabbits are good. I
"They're
took
great
care.
pets."
When I was in elementary school.
Yeah,
I actually took care of a rabbit when I was in fourth grade.
yeah,
Her name was Pumpkin.
nice.
I unfortunately cannot remember the breed of rabbit she was.
More than
but
likely it was a Rex. They're the most popular breed in North
yep,
America.
yep.
Yep, Rex.
Unfortunately,
Was it like white and blackish, like black and white,
no, it
or
was a
white and brown?
brown.
White and
It
brown.
was
Yeah,
brown,
yeah, yeah.
not white.
Brown.
It was
Just all
brown
brown. Yeah, it
and
was a
dark
Rex then.
brown,
Probably. Yeah, it was
brown
probably
and
just.
dark brown.
Yeah, probably a Rex then.
A Rex, you say? Let me see. Let me see.
Mm. Yeah, probably a Rex then. Was it small? It was probably about 5 pounds, like 3 to 5 pounds.
No, she was pretty big.
Yeah. Oh, might have been. I don't even know. It's probably a Rex, but I'm not sure because they're the most common breed.
I
But
want to
rabbits,
say it does kind of look like her, but
but rabbits are classified as exotic pets. So if you're planning on getting one, don't just go out and buy one right away. Make sure you do your research because
yes, there's a lot to them.
they are more complicated than you think for an animal that fucking eats grass. Like that's all I know. But this rabbit is the cutest thing because I had said no. I was like, no, we're not getting another one. And then my other half showed me a picture of the rabbit. And look, you can Google this one too, Chronic, because you like to get a visual aid for it. But it is a pure white lion head rabbit, and he only weighs 3 pounds. And when I saw this picture of this
Oh,
rabbit, this pure white, blue eyes, gorgeous blue eyes, pure white lion head rabbit. When I saw this rabbit, I was like, "Oh my God, it looks like a fucking cartoon character." It
it
looks
really
like
does.
I was like, it literally looks like a creature from a fantasy book. And I was like, "Oh my fucking God." I was like, "We have to get this rabbit. Say yes. Tell them we'll come pick it
That's
up
how I
right
feel
now."
about chinchillas. But yeah, that's a very
Yeah.
cute rabbit.
But I was like, it looks like a fucking anime character. And I was like, say yes, we're going to pick this up right now. Like I was like, we're going like we'll go tomorrow and get it. So we went the next day and we picked him up and he moved in and he has been an absolute treasure. He's one of the sweetest animals ever on the face of the earth. And I love them, man. Like our rabbits are just so fantastic, but like we've owned like several we've like throughout we also had three birds, Lono, Tango, and Olive, which were all budgies. And we had two rodents as well. We had rats, Pip and Jasper, and they were wonderful as well. But unfortunately, the lifespan on those pets is not nearly long enough. Like it's one of those things where we can't get pets anymore that have like a 2 to 5 year lifespan because it's just fucking devastating when they die.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I
Like I
like
know it's
to
more devastating when they live for like 10 to 12 years and then die or longer than that, but I mean at least you get
I
like
like at that point
more
you're like
time with them.
you're really attached to them. You're like, oh, okay, at least I get another 5 years, but you don't. And
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
that's not to laugh, but like
No, it's
that's
true. You're
yeah,
not
like
wrong.
that's it's like like I love Great Danes. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
grew up watching Scooby Doo, so how
Yep.
could I not love Great Danes? But it's the fact that they only live like 5 to maybe 8 years.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like I couldn't.
giant breed dogs always get like hip dysplasia and health problems and everything
Yeah,
else. Yeah.
they just have a lot more issues.
Hmm.
Like my favorite breed of dog is a Rottweiler. That
Oh yeah.
is
Beautiful
100%.
breed.
I,
Yep.
I love Rottweilers. They live a little bit long. They live like 10 to 12 years. They're a little bit,
My
thankfully.
favorite breed is a Samoyed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A Samoyed.
Samoyeds. Yeah.
Samoyed. Let me see. Hang on.
Look it up. Yeah, Samoyeds, dude. That or the
He,
well, go ahead.
so, yeah, this little guy right here. He is a miniature Australian Shepherd mixed with Shiba Inu.
Aussie Shepherds will get it on with anybody.
Yep,
Like
a
Aussie,
Shiba Inu,
yeah,
and they believe they're not 100% sure on this one.
yeah.
I know for a fact the other two,
He's like a
but a
Heinz
little,
52, so he's got a
but
little
a,
bit of everything in there.
but a little bit of Rottweiler in him.
Nice,
But
nice.
he's little. He's a little guy.
Yeah, just small.
Mhm.
But Samoyeds are probably my favorite dogs. Either that or I forget how to pronounce their name, but it's like Hilotl or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know Samoyed.
Samoyed, yeah. But that or the Xilotl, which is like it's a hairless Mexican dog. It's like it's what the Aztecs used to have. Like they're
It's
like
like
hairless,
they kind of look like not that one, but
like the
the
dog from Coco.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
like the hairless dogs from
I
they're
like the Great Pyrenees too. That's a
oh
beautiful
yeah,
breed.
gorgeous. But yeah, and like there's like so many breeds of dogs that are just fantastic. But like it's one of those things where like so I think that would be a good time to talk about your favorite animal. So, what chronic do you think would be your favorite, like non-pet, like dangerous or non-dangerous animal? Like, if you could own it, what do you think it would be?
Well, honestly, if I could own like quote unquote own any kind of animal and it would be doable or plausible, it would definitely be a Siberian tiger.
No, fuck
But
yeah, dude.
but to be honest with you, that's not doable. So realistically, my favorite kind of house animal is a dog. I know it's a little like
Yeah,
normal, but I love my dogs. Um,
they're great animals, dude. There's a reason
100%.
why dogs have been like our companions for the past like 15, 20,000 years, you know, like
Hmm.
humanity, right? Like there's a reason why like dogs like humans saw dogs in the wild and we were like, all right, these are animals that we should have around. And it's because they're like wonderful companions. They help us hunt, they help protect our homes, and they just love unconditionally, you know? And like it's just and like if you have a like dog that's treated really, really well and like properly trained and stuff like that, then like having one around your house is just the greatest thing ever, dude. Like they're just really comfortable pets. But tigers, man, tigers are wild. Like they're
Oh yeah,
fucking crazy. Like
oh yeah,
Siberian tigers are they're brutal animals. I wish there was like more of them in the wild and stuff like
yeah.
that and
They're
everything
eight
else.
hundred pound cats. What do you know like that?
Yeah, like but like it's like I know that like tigers are one of the most like wide ranged, like they live in a lot of different countries. There's a lot of different variations on them, and they're smart and agile as hell, dude. Like I know that there's this like story about well actually one of my favorite there's two tiger stories that I really really like. One of them is a dude. It actually I think it was a Siberian tiger. Uh, yeah,
Siberian.
but a dude one day decided that he was out hunting and he decided he wanted to shoot a Siberian tiger because he saw one and he was like, I'm gonna shoot that because one, he's an asshole, and two, he's an idiot. So he shot this tiger, and when he shot the tiger, he did not kill it. So he tried to track it down and he couldn't find it. So that night, he realized that his camp was being stalked by the tiger that he had shot, and he was like, "Fuck, this isn't good." So, like, obviously, you know, the last thing you want is to be out in the wild being stalked by a tiger, right? So
Right.
so the guy started like leaving. He packed up and he started heading out. Now he was on foot and he was about 3 days away from his cabin where he lived. So he started making his way back towards his cabin. Now the tiger, being tactical as fuck, decided I'm not gonna go track this guy down. I'm gonna follow his original scent. And the tiger followed the scent back to the man's cabin where the man lived. The tiger
Mm-hmm.
broke into the guy's cabin, completely trashed the place, like broke in through the like one of the windows, completely trashed the interior of the cabin, and when the man came home and like went into his house, the tiger attacked him and killed him.
Yep.
And like basically like so the tiger like the guy like tried to kill this tiger and the tiger was like no, fuck you. Not only am I not going to just
They're
kill you,
extremely intelligent.
like I'm gonna go to your house, I'm gonna destroy your house, and then wait in your home for you to come back and then attack you.
They're also rare in the
Oh
sense
yeah, so
of
yeah,
they hunt alone.
yeah, and not only that, but they're like they were also very hunted by humans as well. Like it's one
Yes.
of the problems is that they were like over hunted by humans to the point where and like humans like invaded their habitats and built like places and houses and
Yep.
stuff where they would live. So they're so rare in nature now that it's like they are critically endangered, which is devastating because there used to be like a lot of them and like and so I think they're critically endangered still, but they
I,
might
I
just
think they actually might have just gotten off the list.
well, that would be nice. That would be a good
Let me
thing.
double check on that.
But I know that there was another story that I love about tigers is that there was a village where basically I think it was in Malaysia or around that area where the people of the town kept getting attacked by tigers. They would go out and they would hunt like to hunt for the village or whatever, and very regularly they would get attacked by tigers in the woods. Like they'd be walking through, and like all of a sudden, like Jimmy from the end of the line would be missing, and they'd find him 3 days later in like a pile of tiger crap. And so they were like, "Oh, like that's not good." And like these tigers would jump from the side of a river 20 feet through the air to land in their fucking boats, and they
Yep.
could swim. They could swim very well. Like, because like a lot of cats don't like to swim, and people are like, oh, cats don't like water,
Tigers
but
love it.
tigers can swim very well. And so the people, what they decided is that because the tigers would only attack them when they weren't looking, so like they'd like if they were like walking this way, the tiger would come up behind them and attack them. What they started doing is they started wearing masks on the backs of their heads when they went out hunting. They would go on a hunting party and they'd take a mask, just a human face mask, and they'd put it on the back of their head and they'd wear that. And basically overnight the tiger attacks stopped.
Hmm.
Like the tigers were like they saw the people's like the people were looking, air quotes, looking at them, and they would be like, "Oh fuck." And they'd like not attack, right? So people like would now it's a tradition for those people that whenever they go out hunting, they bring a mask and they put the mask on the back of their head because otherwise there's a very, very real chance that a tiger is going to eat them. Like
Yeah,
it's
because they're you gotta understand. A lot of people like people at home they don't really understand or grasp the idea of how big this animal is. It's
Mhm.
a 900, not that's a little dramatic, a 600-pound cat.
Yeah,
So
it's like
imagine your
five
little
to six
house
hundred
cat.
pounds.
Imagine a little house cat, and
Well,
then
picture the biggest dog you've ever seen. Like, this is a good way to put it. It's like, picture the biggest dog you've ever seen. It's probably like maybe a very large husky or a Malamute, right? They can get up to like 200 pounds, 210 pounds, like at their biggest, right? And
right,
Malamutes are fucking huge if you've ever seen one. Like, picture the biggest dog you've ever seen. That dog probably does not even come close to breaking 300 pounds. Like that, no matter how big it was, like no
yep,
matter how big the biggest dog you've ever seen is, that dog probably will not have breached 300 pounds.
not even close.
Tiger,
I'm
like,
actually
yeah.
really trying to think of what would be a good like scale perspective.
Well,
But
picture
what I was trying to get at
two,
was
like
like
two
all it
Great
takes is one
Danes.
swipe,
Yeah, oh yeah,
one swipe
yeah.
from that paw, and you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
and
that's
that's the thing too is they don't even need to like and that's the crazy thing too is they don't even need to like because it's like when you're playing with your cat, like people are like, "Oh, like, like look at my arm," and they've got like scratches all over their arms and shit like that. Your cat wasn't trying to hurt you. Like your cat wasn't trying to hurt you. Like when it was
no,
playing with you and it was like grabbing your arm and scratching and
that's
stuff like
their
that.
version of playing.
Like
Like
yeah, like
that's
your cat was not trying at all
that's
to
why
hurt you.
I could never own a tiger and play with it like a normal house cat
Yeah.
because when it got because the tiger is very well possible the tiger could build a bond with me, really
Yeah.
love me, really respect me, especially if I had it since it was a baby. It would
Yeah.
look to me and want to protect me, but when that and that's what happens with a lot of these people that own like bears and stuff like that. They end up it's not that the bear attacked them, it's just that they were playing and the bear
Yeah.
just went to go play like how bears play and
And
it
it killed the person.
we can't handle that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like us as
Yeah.
humans, we can't handle that. We're not
Yeah.
tough like that. Like
Exactly. And we also forget that they are animals. Like a
yes,
lot of people forget that they are like they'll like humanize them and stuff like that and they'll be like
right. And they're
and
not.
so
They're
yeah.
still animals, especially whenever you're talking about a tiger and a bear and the
Yeah.
more
Well, look at
crazier
what happened to
animals. Like
Grizzly Man.
that's no matter in captivity or not, that is a wild animal. And
Yeah. And
evolution, they've never been domesticated.
no.
That's like
No.
that's why you
They're
can't go
pure
out. Why do you think
survival.
you can't go out and just get a wolf out of the wild?
Exactly.
It's just not
Exactly.
gonna work.
And even if you get one when it's a puppy, like
It's
it's
still
not
gonna grow
domesticated,
up and
it's
think it's
still
a
a wolf.
wolf.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like with bears, it's like what happened with Grizzly Man. Like the everybody knows, not everybody knows.
Yes, yeah,
Maybe
not
you don't know
everybody
at
knows,
home,
but
but
look that
a
up.
lot of people know.
It's a little gruesome. It's a little
Yeah.
gruesome, just an
So
FYI. But
yeah, so he had lived with this group of bears for like years. For years he'd studied
mhm.
them. Every year he would go back to the same place and he would stay with this group of bears with him
Essentially
and his
built
wife.
a somewhat of a bond almost
Yeah.
with these
And
bears.
he like and they would like the bears would like the first year they'd barely come close to him, barely. And then but eventually they would like he would
Knee
like camp
slap.
and they would come right through his camp and he would like interact with them regularly. And then one day, for absolutely no reason, there was nothing going on. The bear wasn't sick. The guy wasn't like nothing was going on. the bears just decided, hey, fuck this guy. And
Yep.
they chased him down, they mauled him to death, and they ate him, and his wife was there with him, and she witnessed the whole thing. And basically, like, they ended up completely just obliterating the guy and murdering him. Like,
There's
and well, not say
only
it
there
wasn't murder. They killed him and ate him.
there's only very few creatures on this planet other than us that understand how delicate we are and
Hmm.
that you can't play with us in a certain way because you're going to hurt us.
Yep.
And unfortunately, both of those creatures live in water. And that's like that's
Yeah.
and that being an orca because
Yep.
they know, and a dolphin, a straight bottlenose dolphin. They understand
Yeah.
that we're once they know what we are and who
Well,
we are and
not
what it
necessarily because
is.
also elephants have been
Well,
shown to
yes,
know.
elephants.
Like
My
they've
bad.
been,
Not
yeah.
you're right. But elephants, even elephants, are still more prone to accidentally
Yeah,
really
well,
hurt you.
actually, the cool thing about elephants, the cool thing about elephants is that there's like an elephant that lives basically like that was living in, I think it was an African elephant, and this woman who was from South Africa decided to go out hunting elephant one day, and so she went out and she shot an elephant. The elephant did not die, and this is the crazy thing. The elephant didn't die. What the elephant did is it charged at the woman instead and it beat her to death. It grabbed her and like flailed her around like Loki getting flung around by the
My
Hulk
whole yep,
in fucking like it was a scene and the woman died and then days later when they were having her funeral a group of elephants, crashed the funeral and trashed her coffin and a bunch of other shit. Like basically they went and like just trashed her fucking funeral. Like
yep,
destroyed it. And so like and it's like one of those things where like but on the same note, I saw a video of an elephant that was bonded with a human, that was friends with a human, stuff like that. And the human put their foot down and the elephant like underneath the elephant's foot, the elephant lifted their foot up, the person put their foot underneath the elephant's foot and the elephant like gently lowered their foot and like tapped the human's foot with their foot but like wouldn't put it down and then
yep.
it lifted its foot back up and they put a melon underneath the elephant's foot and it just stepped down as if the melon wasn't even there and crushed it.
Right, right. And I do want to clarify too when I mean the three now three creatures because I did
Hmm.
forget elephants. Um, I mean wild animals. There are
Yeah.
domesticated animals such as dogs that do understand that they can't bite us a certain amount,
Yep,
but
like
when they realize it'll hurt us,
they'll put your hand in their mouth but they
and
won't
they'll
bite
be like,
down.
you know what I mean? They'll just be pretty much limp mouth the whole time, and then you'll
Yeah,
put their toy in their mouth. They're like, ah,
and they'll rip it to shreds. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but no, I'm talking about wild animals and like orcas, and orcas are a little bit more on the list of like, yeah, you still might get hurt. It's because you really have to like get
Well,
lucky that the orca likes you,
yeah,
you know.
because if they're having like, cause and dolphins too, like dolphins are notoriously known as like the assholes of the ocean.
And they
Like they're,
definitely can be. They
yeah,
definitely
they've
can
like,
be.
and like, well, and the only reason why is because dolphins are the humans of the ocean. Like that's
Yes.
the problem, is because
Well, so
dolphins,
are orcas, but here's the thing: the orcas are in the dolphin family. They are
yeah,
dolphins. They're not whales.
but dolphins are like they're the smart, like they're smart, like they're dangerously smart insofar as just like humans are one of the few animals on the planet that will cause suffering in another creature for their own entertainment. Like just and
And
it's
and
not a good
dolphins
trait.
and orcas do that
Yeah, it's not a good
100%.
trait, but dolphins and orcas will also do that. Like
Yep.
orcas like they will beat
Well,
the shit out of a shark. Like orcas will beat the living shit out of
yep.
a shark so that they
In
can
a
eat.
group,
Yeah, like in a group, just beat the shit out of it and not be interested in eating it. Like
yeah,
they don't
they'll
want
just
to
leave
eat
it
it.
there. They'll
Like
just
they
leave it
don't want to
there.
eat it at all. They just go and they beat the shit out of it because they can, and then they leave. And
There
same with
was a
dolphins, like
video of
they'll beat
a
up like fish all the time.
yep. There was a video of a group of orcas, a pod. That's what they're called.
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
pod of orcas. That's by the way, that's my favorite sea creature. FYI,
Yeah,
love an orca. Love a
they are
killer whale.
dope.
I grew up watching Free Willy. You know, Michael. Yeah, 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 yeah. MJ killed it with that. Wait. That wasn't MJ. That was MJ on that
Yeah,
song, wasn't
MJ
it?
does that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where he was like standing there in the video with the with
Yeah,
Free
yeah,
Willy
yeah,
jumping
yeah.
over him, and he was like, "Yeah."
How does it go? Did I? The better da
Mhm.
da da.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna get a copyright strike. We gotta be careful.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
um, but yeah, no, that orcas. there was a video of a pod of orcas, and it was probably some David Attenborough documentary or something.
And
Um,
here we see the
yeah,
great
and
orca
here we
whale
see. Um, but they were basically they were
slapping the
basically
shit
playing volleyball
with a
with
seal.
seals. With
Yeah,
seals, yeah,
yeah.
with seals,
And now,
and
now don't get me wrong, they probably would eat a seal,
and
but
they
the thing
do.
is that they don't need to because
Yep.
it's more efficient for them to eat other like
Listen,
fish.
their food chain supply, they're so good at what they do and so effective at hunting that
Yeah,
they don't eat wherever like a shark will eat the majority of whatever, like the bone, every like whatever.
yeah,
They'll eat whatever they can eat. Same thing with fish, same thing with
yeah.
every almost any other creature in the ocean besides the dolphin family.
Hmm.
They'll eat everything that they can off of the corpse. Orcas, they eat like the tasty stuff like we do. They're picky like we are.
Yeah,
We
they'll
don't
like
eat
rip open
everything
an
off of
animal.
it.
They'll like rip open an animal to get the liver, and then they'll just leave the rest of it.
Leave the rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so and but that's why I always say like dolphins are like known as the assholes of the ocean, but that's because they're the humans of the ocean and humans tend to be assholes. Like, like they like, like humans can't like the majority of us are nice. Actually, all the ones I know are pretty great. Some of
I've
the except
always
for the
said
one,
the asshole side of humans is that like ape primal side we haven't shaked off in
No,
evolution
no, I
yet.
don't even give it that. I don't even give it that because it's an entirely different thing. Like I don't like to call it primal because that kind of takes the thought out of it. Because like it a lot of it comes from like because a lot of it's rooted mainly in like narcissism and like thinking they're better. So when people are okay with hurting someone else, they're because they think they're better and there's nothing primal about that. Like, like
Well,
primal
no,
would be
that's
like
exactly what's primal about it. Groups of chimpanzees, that's all they do. That's all they do is fight because they think that one is more dominant or
well,
better
not
than the
always.
other.
Like that's the thing too is they'll also care for their weak and their sick and stuff like that. It's only the ones who want power that are the ones that act dominant. You know what I mean? And that's
Right. I mean,
because
that's
they
the same
think
with
they're
humans,
better.
arguably.
It's because they think they're better. So and even then, there's a thought process behind it. There's like I want to be in power, so I'm going to hurt people, right? But and so I just find it really like it's one of those things where like
Wait,
the
that's a good question
dolphins
for the chat. That's a good
that is good,
question for
yeah.
our viewers. Like,
Like
what do you think? What do you think causes the assholism in humans? Is it
yeah.
something more or less what Shank is talking about, or is it something more or less of what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Tell us what where who you agree with more
Yeah, like
and why.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's true and it's like but it's like but I feel that it's one of those things where like if it was a primal nature there would be less thought behind it. It would just be one of those instinctual need to do kind of things,
and by the way, guys, this is how you have an intelligent conversation for
Yeah.
two disagreeing
Because neither of us
parties.
are wrong. Like I mean I
Right?
can see I can
Like,
see where Chronic is coming
obviously, there's
from.
a point to each side, like
Yeah, and I and I
100%.
and I see where you're coming from insofar as it is something that's demonstrated in nature, like as well, like because humans aren't the only animals that hurt other animals and stuff like that, but
And I
we're one of
totally
the
get where you're
only.
coming from because a lot of people say that whenever people, I hear this a lot too. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's just primal instinct," as it almost as if they're like playing it off,
Yeah, it's
like you know what I mean,
dismissive.
like
And
yeah,
because I find
dismissive. Yeah, yep,
yeah,
yep.
and the thing is too is that the difference between humans and a lot of animals is that an animal will do it if they have to get something out of it. They have to get some food, they have to get some hierarchical power, they have to get something out of it. Like that's the primal nature of it is like if I need to defend my life or I need to get food or I need to have more security or
And
something like
sometimes they
that.
genuinely
But
don't know better. You
but
know
well,
what I
and that's
mean?
the thing though, is but with humans are and dolphins are some of the only animals on the planet that will hurt something because they can.
Yep.
Like they don't do it for a reason. They're like it's like when scientists sit down and they're like they go like to a serial killer and they're like, "Why'd you kill these people?" And he's like, "I don't know, I fucking wanted to." Like, and you go to a dolphin and you're like, "Hey dolphin, why did you like have sex with that penguin until it died?" And they're like, "I don't know, I fucking felt like it." Like
Insert SpongeBob cuss word
yeah, like yeah, and it's like I don't know, I felt like it. Like, it's like there's no reason. Like there's no like I didn't get anything out
because
of
I
it.
could.
Like, because
Yeah.
I
Yep.
could, like, just because I could. Like, why did you do that horrible thing? Because I could. Like,
Yep.
and like, they're one of the few animals that'll, like, like, it's like if an ape attacks another ape, they're doing it because if they beat that other ape, then now they have their position in the hierarchy. But
Yep.
they don't just go and attack another ape because the other ape is just sitting there looking at it weird. They don't like look at another ape across the bar and be like, "You're looking at me funny. What are you looking at me for?" And then go fight that other ape. Like, they got to get something out of it.
Well, I that okay. In the wild, that doesn't happen. Now with apes, you're right. That does not happen in the wild. In captivity, it does, but that's
Oh yeah,
because of underlying stress of
yeah,
captivity for them,
yeah. You
which is
can't
totally
study an animal.
understandable.
Yeah, you can't study an
You
animal in
want to compare
captivity,
it?
and
Look at
yeah,
prisons. Why do you think they fight?
yeah.
Um,
There's a lot more fights in prison.
exactly. So, but where that does happen, where it's kind of like, oh, you looked at me funny type of thing, is monkeys, not apes, monkeys.
Yeah,
Like the like in Thailand, I forget what are the
macaques.
macaws, yeah, yep, um,
Yeah, macaque
macaws.
attacks thing. Macaque attacks things all the time.
Yeah, no, for just no reason, just no
Yeah,
reason at all.
no, macaque's violent, man.
All the time, bro. It just gets it flexes and gets hard and it beats off, bro. I mean beats up, you know, like
Beats
that's
up, man. Yeah. Yeah. But and
uh,
yeah, like, but well, it's like that's the thing too, is it's like there's just a lot of animals that, like, especially when they're captive animals, that they'll take because humans do things that we see as a sign of reassurance and comfort, but animals
yes.
see it as a threat. Like for
Yes.
example, dogs. A lot of people
You can't smile at a
like
dog if you
don't
don't if you're
smile.
not
Like if you don't,
yep.
if you're not familiar with the dog, don't smile with teeth.
And
Like
I know
because of
it's hard,
yeah.
guys. I know if you see a really cute
Yeah, and you
dog
can smile,
and
just
you
don't
know,
smile with teeth. Like the second you do
yep.
like a full like smile, the
Just be like
dog's
this.
gonna
Just be like,
yeah,
you
just be like,
know,
oh, you're so cute and stuff like that.
yep.
That's fine. Like, but don't like because a lot of dogs and even and apes and other things, they show their teeth as a sign of aggression.
Yep.
So like it's like because they're a weapon to them. Like tigers as well and other things. Like their teeth are a weapon. So if they show their teeth, they're saying it's like the same as you pulling out a fucking knife, right? Like it's like so when you meet it's like you meeting another person and being like pull out a fucking pocket knife and flick it open, you know? And being like, "Hi, how's it going?" Because you're showing them a weapon and you're
Yep.
greeting them. They're going to freak out or they might freak out. That won't necessarily guaranteed, but it's like one of those things where like animals see like humans see something as a sign of reassurance and animals see it as a threat. And so like it's one of those things
Especially
where
gorillas.
yeah, and it's one of those things where like animals like they do have a like the problem with a lot the way a lot of people treat animals is that they anthropomorphize them, which basically like means that they give them human traits like because their dog is they're like, oh, my dog understands me or my dog like this or like like it
And
does this
yes,
just like a human.
to a degree,
And
your
to a
dog
degree
does
it does.
understand you.
Yeah, exactly, but it's not, it's one of those things where like it's like as like your dog is a dog and you can love it as a dog. You don't
Oh
need to
yeah,
love it because it shows animal human traits. And it's like
100%,
yeah, and it's
100%.
like when an ape is in a zoo, like you always see those videos where like, oh, I showed my baby to an ape at the zoo, like through the glass, and
And
the ape was like,
yeah,
oh, that's
yeah.
so sweet, like and everything else, and it's like, dude, that ape would have done that if you held up an iPod. Like, it's not like
Right,
it's not
right.
going
And
like,
that's
like it's not human. And if that baby was in there, they would toss it around like a football. Like it's
I
not,
will say, and that has to do a lot with the fact that we do have domesticated animals like dogs. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I because you know like
Well, we've
there's no
spent
harm
15 to 20,000 years making dogs,
domesticating them. You
yeah,
know, like and
domesticated.
that's the thing, and there's no harm, no foul in it talking to them as if they're a human. But I
Yeah,
think a lot of people lose that touch and sense of reality of like, wait, that's not how that works in the wild.
yeah,
um like for instance, everybody does it. You know, I catch myself, I'll be talking to my old dude here, Sparky, about like the most
yeah.
random of I'll be like, I'll explain to him why that's a bad thing. Like I'll be like, listen man, you can't do that, it's going to hurt your stomach, it's going to, and as if
He
he
doesn't fucking care.
understands
Yeah, he
what
doesn't
the hell
know.
I'm actually saying. But
Yeah,
he's cute though, and that's why I
and they'll
talk to him, because he
listen.
sits there
Yeah,
and he sits there
they'll
and looks at me
listen.
like this, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm like,
Yeah. And
you
so
got to be getting
and there's
something
no
out of
harm to
this,
it
like
either. And that's the thing too is there's no harm in treating our animals with respect and like talking to them and like that kind of thing, whether they can understand us or not.
right.
Like it's like
They do appreciate the like
but at the
because
same
they sense
time,
the vibe that you're setting
but
off
yeah,
too.
but at the same time, like if you're in nature and you see a bear and it's chilling out and you're like, no, it'll be fine. Animals like me. Animals like me. It's like, dude,
I'm an
I
animal
don't.
whisperer.
It's like, dude, it does. Yeah, it's like, dude, it doesn't matter whether animals like you or not. Don't walk up to a fucking bear. It's like living in Canada as a Canadian. I have to say, moose. Don't.
Horrifying.
Don't. Like people see moose walking around and
Listen,
they're like, "Oh my God, a moose." Like, "Oh my God, it will kill you. It won't care. It doesn't matter how cute you think it is. It doesn't matter how many moose-related cartoons you've seen. You will die and it will be painful." Like
listen, listen.
like
This is coming from a person who lives in a state that just to get to your vehicle, you have to roundhouse kick an alligator, tackle
mhm.
a 6 foot bird, and dodge a 18.5 foot anaconda. So like
Yeah.
that, like and moose is still something I would rather.
No.
I would rather take my anacondas than
Yeah,
I would rather take
I was literally just
not
about to
anacondas,
say
pythons. I meant to say pythons,
I
but
would rather walk through the Florida Everglades and fucking hunt down like the like pythons that have been illegally released down there and like pick them up and smooch them on their little
they're
python
absolutely.
foreheads.
By the way, anybody like you got to understand that's if it's anybody's first time hearing that about hunting the pythons in Florida, it is something that if you look more into, you will get behind because of what they're doing to the ecosystem
Yep,
down there.
they're a very
They're
invasive
absolutely destroying
species.
it.
Yeah, they are a very invasive species, and they are like they thrive in Florida when they shouldn't. And the problem is that they are a very invasive species.
To put it in perspective to anybody who doesn't understand the kind of damage they're doing down in the Everglades, is what is the most common thing you see next to your trash can at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Probably raccoons.
Right, right. Anybody, no matter where you're
Yeah,
at, raccoons.
yeah,
So that was one of the most populated animals in the Everglades. And
yep,
now in the Everglades, obviously not as a whole species, but in the Everglades, they are an endangered species,
yep.
almost severely, and nothing that humans did for once. It's the well,
Yeah,
in
for
a way
once
it
it's not
is,
because the
in a way it
Everglades are a
was, in a way
protected
it was,
area. Yeah,
in
because
a
the
way it
Everglades,
was,
yeah,
in a way it was because the
because
humans
they released it.
released
Yeah, they released the
released the
pythons.
pythons, but
Yeah,
regardless
yeah,
the pythons are the reason why those things are dying off. Why the
yeah.
alligators are having not that they're dying off because most of the time, even whenever a
They are a
python
little
wins
bit
against,
too because they're
well, they're eating the
competing now.
eggs. Well,
Yeah,
they're
they're
eating the eggs, and
yeah,
they're not having any chance of being born.
yeah,
But
and not
half
only
the
that,
time,
but
even whenever
they
they
also
fight
have to
the
compete for
gators, they
food.
die. Right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
even then, unless it's a small gator, like like even the 5 foot gators are a little bit on the bigger side. But if it's like a 4 foot and lower, they typically can be okay if it's a bigger python. And I've only because I've seen this in person. But this is pretty wild. I've seen and this is a video online too. I didn't take it, but you can see them online. Viewer discretion advised if you do watch them.
mhm.
But anytime they fight a gator that's like 6 foot or bigger, and
The gator's gonna win.
there are times where the gator loses
Yeah,
100% because they're getting squeezed the life out of them.
yeah.
But then the python being primal and not really understanding the concept of
Well, if the
the
gator,
size
this is the
difference
trick. If the gator gets the mouth, if the gator gets their mouth on the snake, that snake's going to die every time.
every single time.
Every
Yep.
time. If the gator gets their mouth on it,
There's no match on a gator's raw power
their
on their
bite
jaw
strength,
strength.
and not only that, but the ever famous death roll. The second that they start doing that, that snake's gonna get
And
whipped around
that's
like
the
a
thing too.
fucking
Even
schooner
whenever
at the
that snake gets
Olympics.
that grip around them, they have to
Yeah.
survive the death roll,
Yeah, because
and
that
that's
snake is
a
going
lot
to
of
be
times they
flung
don't.
around. It's going to be flung around like a ribbon at a gymnastics competition, dude. Like it's
Yeah,
the
and to be fair, if there's
yeah.
any gator above the size of 8 or 9 feet, there is no python that's going to beat it. But
No, but the
um,
issue with those gators, the issue with those gators that are 8 or 9 feet is that they need to eat something, and if there's no meat out there for them to get to because the anacondas ate it all, they're going
yes,
to
they're going to
starve to
die
death.
off. Yep.
So it's like so that's a problem too, is that like when they're competing because they eat the same food source, you know, like it's like water grazing animals that like go near the water, like small birds, that kind of thing, fish, that kind of stuff. The pythons eat the same thing that the gators eat. So if the gator tries to go out and find food, it can't because all the food gets eaten by these giant fucking snakes. And
Yep.
so like, but
They
I would
are
rather.
they are hunting them down
Yeah,
there.
but
So
I would rather come face to face with a fucking 7.5 foot long python just vibing. I would go up to it and smooch it on its little snaky forehead rather than be within 20 feet of a moose.
and the
Because
moose is aware that I'm there.
yeah,
That's
because a moose can and will close that gap of 20 feet in less than 3 seconds. It'll be on top of you. Like it'll be on top of you and it will just destroy you. And they're the last surviving megafauna in North America. And like for those at home who are listening right now, megafauna basically is the same thing as those like giant sloths that used to roam around South America. And like basically elephants,
Yes,
hippos,
yes,
like
yep, yep.
anything that can weigh like over 1,000 pounds basically is known as a megafauna. And they're the last surviving megafauna in North America. And so people think they're like, oh, moose, like what? It's a little bit bigger than a deer, a little bit bigger than a horse or
No, they're
something.
massive.
No, like picture the biggest horse, like the Clydesdale horses. Picture the biggest Clydesdale horse you've ever seen in your life, and then add an extra 500 fucking pounds. And that's
Yeah.
how big these things are. They stand tall enough that they can look down into an 18 wheeler's cab. Like it's like they're fucking huge and they're deadly. They're brutal. And like so moose like I like
And then you got the grizzlies out there that'll take one swipe and break a moose's back.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah, like the full grizzlies, like we're talking
Yeah.
like the almost 2,000 pound fucking
Yeah, like
bears. Or like
1,500 pound bears.
what is
Like,
it?
yeah.
If it's they say if it's black, fight back. So if it's a black bear, black bears are generally between 400 and 600 pounds. And if it's a black bear, like you can fight, you can kind of be like, rah, pretend you're big, pretend you're
Yep.
scary, and it's gonna probably run away. Like it'll probably run away. But if it's brown, lay down. So if it's a brown bear, like, and it's a like a Kodiak or a grizzly, your best bet is to lay down, don't move, and hope that it decides not to play with you to see if you're dead or not. Like you just hope that it moves on, like that it goes, because it's either gonna kill you or it's gonna hurt you or it's gonna just
The
walk
only
away.
time it's effective to act big or yell at it is if you're in an open field and it's
Yeah.
charging you from a
And
very long
well, and
distance
even then,
away.
if it's charging you, it's probably already too late. But if it's just standing there and investigating you, and you go blah 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 blah, then it might run away. It might
Yep.
decide, hey, it's not worth it, and run away. Basically, if it's white, put out your own lights. So if it's a polar bear, just fucking kill yourself because there's nothing that, like just
Yeah, yeah.
you can play dead, you can act big, you can act
Polar bears
scary.
are horrifying.
Yeah, you can act big, you can act scary, you can act fucking like you can fire at it with a friggin' 500 Magnum
And
and
here's the
like
thing.
it's gonna get you. It's
With the
you're done.
moose, that's not even, don't even just you're gonna look at you like you're stupid. Like
Yeah,
that.
a moose you need to use like the largest cal you literally need to use an elephant gun to take a moose down. Like it's like you're not taking it down. Like it's the and it's like and it's not like people like the problem is that they've seen moose in like pictures and videos where there's no human for scale. But like a six
There
foot
is an
tall,
accurate video if people would just look it up of a guy
like
driving by a moose,
yeah,
and it is like
yeah. But if you're 6 feet tall, if you're 6 feet tall and you're standing up perfectly straight and a moose is standing next to you, your head will not even reach the top of its shoulders.
you're gonna be at its chest,
Yeah, you're gonna be
if
like at
that.
around the middle of its chest at 6 feet
Yep.
tall. And it's like, and so like, yeah, they're brutal, they're deadly, they're ridiculous, they're like, and like, they're some of the most
There's more people
horrifying
that
creatures
die
out
from
there.
moose than grizzly bears. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
but shout out to the honorary best killing animal on the planet and the most deadly animal in Africa, the hippo. We haven't mentioned
Yes.
you yet on this podcast, and I gotta say, hippos for omnivores, you sure kill a lot of meat.
Yes, they do.
Hmm
100%. Hippos are ridiculous.
For
Also,
like,
in
they're not
Africa,
even
for
omnivores; they're like
Africa just
herbivores.
holds all of the deadliest animals in terms of actual animals, like the
I don't
saltwater
know, man.
crocodile.
Australia is pretty
Saltwater
brutal.
crocodile. I
Oh
mean,
man, salties, yeah.
yeah, that's what is it?
20,
Like a
25,
3,000,
25 to 30, 25 to 30 foot long friggin' crocodile. Ugh.
30, 3,000 pound bite force, if not more.
Yeah, like more than that. Yeah, like they're and again, another animal that fights primarily by death roll.
I think the
So,
strongest bite force of an animal, though, of a mammal, is the
um,
killer whale, though.
I was gonna say jackal or not jackal, hyena, because hyenas have mechanical jaws. They
Oh no,
have literally
in terms of animal. Well, okay, so land animal.
land animal hyenas. I think
Let
I'm
me see.
pretty sure, like that it's a hyena.
I've heard that
Strongest.
before, but let me double check. Well, that's not. It said saltwater croc. That's not an animal. I mean, it is, but people. Oh wow. So the Nile crocodile though can get up to
Oh no, it is the
five
hippopotamus. It's yeah, it's got
5,000 pounds per square inch. The
the
Nile
strongest
crocodile.
bite force. The strongest bite force in a land animal is considered, I guess, the hippopotamus. Even though they technically live most of their life in water, they are still a land animal, and they can generate 1,800 psi with their bite. That is a lot.
That is a crazy amount.
That is a
Humans are like
lot.
what, 200?
Not even, yeah, not even like like close to, but not even close. But yeah, it's the comparison is completely. It's not even close. But it's one of those things where like there are a lot of deadly animals out there, and there's a lot of animals that I mean I'd love to own them. I haven't even covered all of the animals that if I like that are just adorable that I would love to own one. But if any of you buds at home that are listening right now, if any of you homies listening to this podcast right now have any other animals that you know of that you think are really, really cute or really, really interesting, comment them down below or comment them anywhere on any of our socials. Fire us a comment and let us know which animals, if any, you think are the cutest, most interesting, coolest animals out there. Because there's just, we couldn't possibly cover them all in one
Yeah,
episode of a
there's so
podcast.
many.
And obviously, if you're interested in hearing more about animals or hearing us talk more about animals, let us know because it's definitely a topic that we're both passionate about. We both love. And
S-
this podcast
r-
has brought up a lot of interesting questions and interesting
Real,
dilemmas
real,
and debates and yeah,
real quick,
yeah,
because we were talking about the strongest land animal, the strongest mammal by force in general
yes.
is my boy the orca,
Oh, there you go.
and it's at 19,000 pounds per square inch.
19,000 or 1,900?
19,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's like, what is that? Like 14 times stronger than the hippo?
Well, the hippo is well, yeah, it's like well close to it's like 10 times, like just over 10 times. It's probably like closer to like 10 or 11 to maybe 12 times more. But that's fucking wild, dude. But hey, if any of you out there aren't worried about orca bites,
Right.
if you're not a billionaire whose yacht's getting sunk by orcas, go orcas. Um, then comment down below. Let us know what's going on. We are running out of time for today's episode. So
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, but we will be back, fortunately, with another episode next week, which is going to be entertaining and awesome. And as always, if you have any suggestions for episode ideas, comment them down below. And we would love to take your opinions into account and cover topics that you might be into.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Roll the outro.
Peace.
So that's it for today's episode. Remember to share your opinions on the topic in the comment section down below so we know how you feel about things, or suggest some ideas about future episodes.
Also, you can check out our social media on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and more in the description below.
And if you're watching this or listening on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps us beat those algorithm gods.
Thank you all for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next time on the Chronic and Shank Variety Conversation.